Hello everybody. In this next mental health story, it is called Supporting My Son and Fighting Stigma. So let's just get right into it. While I have lived with anxiety and depression for more than 30 years, my story is really about my son. I raised my boys, who are now 19 and 26 years old, alone. I always did my best for them. And when serious mental illness, SMI, touched our family, we faced a challenging situation. 4 years ago, my oldest son was diagnosed with, I cannot pronounce this word, so I'm sorry for advance, schizophrenia. I hope I pronounced it wrong, but I always have troubles. PTSD and depression. I felt like I had failed him as a mother. When you hear schizophrenia, you often think people wandering the streets and talking to themselves. That is not the life I wanted for my child. My son refused help. He was in a constant state of psychotics and confined himself in his room. On the rare occasions he left his room, he locked the door behind him, and I didn't have a key. But I refused to give up on my son. I researched and read up on his mental health conditions so I could gather the necessary tools to help him to get better. And his condition, however, continued to worsen. In all honesty, our situation was onerous and terrifying. Both my younger son and I were scared of his brother for the future. Scared for his brother and for the future. Something had to change. Others advanced us to kick my son out of the home. This suggestion did not sit well with me. Why would I kick my child out? He was not hurting us. He was trapped in a painful and stressful medical situation. Would they say to kick him out if he had brain cancer? That is when I realized that our journey was completely beyond managing my son's symptoms. We were also battling intense stigma surrounding SMI. One day, I opened the door to my son's room and found what looked like a scene from a movie. Walls were covered with newspaper clippings, writings that didn't make sense, and he was sleeping in his closet. I cleaned his room and threw everything away. When my son saw what I had done, he became distressed and told me that he was helping the FBI solving cases. When he calmed down, he told me that this information couldn't be thrown into the trash, or his enemies would have grabbed it. I called the police because I knew my son was in a mental health crisis and needed to be hospitalized. Officers spoke with him but reported that there was nothing they can do in the situation. I cried in defeat. One officer, however, convinced my son to go in a behavioral health center that night. When I when I watched him walk away, I was heartbroken that it had to come to this. I had so many questions. He had been been so normal before. What happened to him? After my son's 72-hour hold, I picked him up and told him he had to be completely compliant with his medication in order to come back home. I told him that I wanted my son back, but upon his return home, he would continue to skip his meds. I continued to research. I found information about an injection that had demonstrated some success. Why haven't we been given this option before? I coordinated with my son's doctor so we could given him an injection a try. This is when I realized that I would have advocated for my son's health. Thanks to injections in combination with an oral medication region, I got my son back. He is thriving. Managing his symptoms will be a lifelong task, but he hasn't experienced the symptoms almost in a year. The reason I am sharing my story is to give parents in my situation some hope. This is a daunting challenge, but there is help available, and we have to be patient and empathetic. Our children don't choose to live like this. This is an illness that deserves a compassionate medical response. Unfortunately, I wanted to end the stigma surrounding SMI. I am so proud of my son. I am not ashamed of his illness, and if we could spread accurate information about this illness, it would no longer be taboo. I hope those who are in a similar situation will continue to help me as we spread awareness, turn passion to action. I hope you guys like this story. If you guys do, let me know by liking, subscribing, etc. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!